see. Okay. All right. We're live. When I pushed the go live button a minute ago, it wouldn't go live. So I don't know what happened. I had to take it down, redo it. So I'm a minute or so late, and I apologize. I'm StampinDeDe. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm Deanna Blackman. I love what I do, and I love sharing it with you. So I'm glad you're here today. Whether you're watching this live on Facebook Live or watching the replay on YouTube, thank you for doing that. And if you are on live, I would love it if you would comment and let me know that you're here. I love to know who's watching, and I love your comments. So please do that. And if you're watching the replay, if you're watching Facebook Live or YouTube, then let me know that you've watched it, and let me know what you think about the card. Today we're going to be doing a really fun card. It's called the Split Lattice, and some of you have probably already done it, but for those who haven't, you need to see how easy it is and how fun it is. What a cute card it makes, and it's just got that wow factor, you know, and who doesn't love to send a card to someone with a wow factor? So I hope you enjoy it. Coming up in July, the Stamp Club of the month, July Stamp Club is going to be Timeless Arrangements. And if you're not familiar with Timeless Arrangements, then you need to be sure and watch the live. Let's see what that date is. It's the first Thursday in July, which is July 6th. So, actually, I think I may do this next week, which is June 29th. I think I'm going to go ahead and introduce it next week to give you plenty of time to get your enrollment in for the Club of the Month. So next Thursday morning at 10 o'clock, Timeless Arrangements, the Stamp Club of the Month for July. All right. I hope you're having a good summer. We have had a really good summer so far, and it's just getting started, right? Hot. Oh, it's hot here. But that's okay. We're blessed. We have air conditioning. We can get out and go in our air-conditioned car, and we're blessed. We're so blessed, and I know you are too. All right. I'm going to turn the camera down. That's always a trick, so just be patient with me while I do it, and we're going to get started on the Split Lattice card. Here we go. Let me get this adjusted. All right. Hopefully that's going to be high enough. Let me raise this just a little bit. Okay, here we go. But you know what I need to do? I need to turn it around. I think that'll do it. Yes. Now, one of these days, maybe I'll have that new system where you just push a button. But not yet. Not yet. So we do this every time, and that's just fine. That's just fine. All right. So here's the Split Lattice card. I love doing things in white. Especially with these Cheerful Daisies, I love doing it in white. This one, though, I added just a little bit of a touch of color with the bubble bath, the new bubble bath. And, but I just think the white is stunning. All right. This one, though, I wanted to show you that it can be done in a color. And I did distress the edges of this one to make it look like a wooden fence. Uh-oh. Looks like my glue came undone right there. Whoops. And now my rubber band came off. Hold on. Here we go. Let's just put a dot of glue right there. Hold it down for just a minute. All right. So you are in my prayers card and a thank you card or whatever sentiment. This is thank you from the bottom of my heart. And look how the flower shows through the slats just a little bit, peeks through. All right, so these are the two samples that I made, but the one we're going to do today is this one. And I picked this one partly because I wanted to demonstrate Cheerful Daisies to you. I wanted to show you some different ways to use the Cheerful Daisies. This is the Cheerful Daisies bundle. The stamps, you see you've got, it's a two-step stamp set. So each of the flowers is 2 steps. You've got the centers and the stem and the leaves, some little flowers and a couple of 3, 4 sayings. And then your dies, and I have some leftover pieces that I didn't use. Let me move them away right now. So then your dies, and your dies have several layers. So you've got your main layer, which is this one. And then you've got, this is all one piece, and we're going to use it today, and I'm going to show you how versatile it is. And then you've got the overlay layer, which is this one right here, which just gives it even more depth. Now I'm also going to show you how I get these to work, how I mark them, because as you see, if I had to struggle every time to figure out how this went, I could spend a lot of time doing that. But what I've done is lined them up, and then I've marked the edge with a black marker. I've marked the edge of each die, and I actually did it on both sides. That way, I know immediately how it lines up. And then I came along with my large stamp, and I did the same thing. So I've marked the edge of my stamp to match the edge of my die. And what did I do? I brought them both up, didn't I? I thought, what is that? Why are there 2 marks in there? All right. Here we go. So it lines up perfectly, and you don't have to struggle with that. And I don't worry so much about where I put them down, although you could mark that too if you wanted to. All right. And you'll have to remark them because the black marker wears off. I think one time marked my dies with fingernail polish because the black marker kept marking off, fading off. I'm going to move this a little bit that way so that I have a little more room here. All right, so that's what I do with my dies, and I did it with this one, with these 2. This one you don't need, but these 2 you do. You do need them. All right, so here we go. Oh, your dies also include all 3 flowers. It includes a ferny looking leaf, as well as the leaf that coordinates with the stamp, the centers for the flowers, for the daisies, and then this cuts out the little flowers over here. So, a very versatile set. Let's take this one out because this is the one we're going to use right now for this card. We'll set this aside. Set this aside. So the first thing we need to do is get our cardstock cut. And I used a white for my base. So I'm going to take a full sheet of white and I'm going to cut it. It'll be 4 1/4 by 11. So I'm going to take this out 4 1/4. Move it down here. So I'm going to take this out to the 4 1/4 mark. And it's going to be 11 inches long. So I've got my length already. I cut my 4 1/4. And I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. So here we go. You have to move your cutting blade. Score it at 5 1/2. Now we have one more big cut to do. We're going to cut 3 1/4 inches off the bottom. 3 1/4. Then when we fold this, we have the front of our card. Let me use my bone folder. All right. So this is the base of our card. And we're going to use this to create the lattice. So the next thing we need to do is cut our 1/2 inch slats. And I'm going to cut 5 1/2 inch slats. I've got it right at the 1/2 inch mark on this side. And I'm just going to keep cutting this. 5 1/2 inch slats. 2, 3, 4. Make sure I've got it lined up with the 1/2 inch. You want to hold it and keep it straight. I need one more 1/2 inch slat. 1/2 inch. And I'm going to hold it real tight right here so that I can cut that. Now I've got my 5 1/2 inch slats. Set those aside. And I'm going to take this one, which is 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to cut it in half. And I think it's to the 1, 2, 3 mark. So that's 3/8. It's the 3/8 mark. And you want to get it as straight as you can. Let me see if it's 3/8 on this side. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 3/8. You could washi tape it down if you wanted to. I'm just going to put it down and hold it tight and cut it. And now these two are going to be our up and down pieces. So we're going to set them aside. And we're ready now to form our lattice card. So what you need to do this, what I use, you need a low tack adhesive, and I use the Post-it labeling and cover-up tape. This stuff is wonderful. It's low tack, it's sticky on one side. It's great for masking. It's great for holding things on your cut and emboss. It's great for this. So it also is reusable, and I have torn off a long piece, and I have used this on all the cards. So I'm putting it tacky side up, right down the middle. Tacky side up, and it still is holding. So that's really, really great. Okay. And now I'm going to take my 5 pieces of my 5 slats, and I'm just going to start positioning them, leaving a little less than 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to turn my light around here, so maybe this will help. So a little less than 1/4 of an inch, and you'll have to readjust, and that's why you want a low tack tape. There we go. Let me put a color under here so you can see what I'm doing. All right, get the next slat. You want them as even with the edges, and that, there we go, as possible. Okay, and the 4th one goes right here. And the last one is going to line up with the bottom. Makes that easy. All right, so we have them down. I'm going to take this and put it there to hold it, just to hold it down a little more. And maybe this to secure this piece down just a little bit. All right, because we do have some gluing that we're going to do now. Move this up just a little bit. All right, these are getting, they're not as tacky as they were, but look, I've done 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th card I've done with these, so that's awesome. All right, these 2 pieces are going to go right here. This one is going to go here. This one is going to go here. And it looks like, what, about 1/2 an inch? Yeah, from edge to edge, about 1/2 an inch. About, but it really doesn't matter as long as you've got them about the same distance, and you want them sticking up here about the same distance, and we're gonna trim this off. All right, once we've got an idea of how we're gonna do that, then we're gonna take our Tombow glue, and we're gonna come along, and we're gonna, whoops, I just dropped my thing. We'll start here to give us a guide, and we're going to go down and just a dot right in the center of each slat. Then we're going to come back, we're going to put that down, line it up. That's what's wonderful about that Tombow glue. It is so flexible. That looks pretty even to me. Yep, so I'm going to mash it down, and of course you don't want glue to come through on this side. You don't want that, and it won't if you just put it on the slats. All right, we've got that one. I'll bring this one down a little bit, and I'm going to line these up. I'm going to move this one over just the tiniest little bit. Well, that stuck down fast. I want to move it over just a tiny bit. All right. I think we've got that. Mash it down. Now, once we've given that a second for these to dry, then we're ready to take it up. So I'm going to take these off. Take this one off. lift it up. I like to turn it over and hold my slats down as I take it off. And see how it's such a low tack tape that it comes right off. And now, let me get my bone folder. Give it one more burnish, and we have our lattice. That simple. That simple. Now, let me get my scissors, and I always like to cut from the back. So I'm going to trim that one. And trim that one off. All right. I love this. I love how easy it is. Now, I like to add just a little bit of color underneath my lattice so that it shows. And so this piece is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And I used the Cheerful Daisies. Let's see, here it is. I used a piece of the Cheerful Daisies Designer Series paper because I liked the pretty peacock that is on the back of this. I think it's Pretty Peacock and Lemon Lime Twist. And so I'm going to bring that on the inside. I'll use my adhesive for this. And I'm just going to come along the edges of the back. And glue it right down to the edge, right down in that corner, and that corner. There we go. And now we've got that right behind our lattice. Love it. Love, love, love it. All right. So the next thing we need to do is cut our flowers. So we're going to set this aside, bring in our cut and emboss, the mini cut and emboss, because these daisy dies work with the mini cut and emboss. But what I have to do is cut my 4 1/4 down to about 3. Just a little over 3 for the mini cut and emboss. See, it fits perfectly. So we're going to cut these daisies using this template here. And we're going to do it 3 times. So we're going to do the whole thing 2 times, and this flower a 3rd time. So here we go. Get it positioned. Run it through. I'll bring it out on the other side. That's one. Now, one thing you do have is a lot of little pieces. So, we're going to leave that. We're just going to pull it off and leave that for a little bit later to get those pieces out. So now we're going to do number 2. Hi, Sharisa. I see that you make a thumbs up or smiley face or something every now and then. I'm so glad to see you on. It's good to see you. And thank you. I love this card too. All right. I'll take this one off. And now we're going to do just the little flower. So I'm going to turn this around. In fact, I'm just going to tear the extra paper off and throw it away. Turn this around. I'm only going to run it through enough to get that one little flower. So, get the whole thing on so I don't bend my die, but I'm not going that far. All right, I'm going to run it through just enough to get that little flower, which is what I did. All right, so I'm going to cut it loose from what I didn't cut. Cut it in two places. All right, now we've got what we need. Throw my scraps away. We're going to set this aside for a few minutes while we work with our flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this out. Now, I do have my brush end of my Take a Pick tool, and normally I would do that, but I discovered on this die that it just doesn't poke them out for some reason. So, I'm going to get one of my pads, a little Stampin' Up! Pad here. Well, let's see if I can get them out. Well, maybe more of them are coming out than... All right, so we still have some to poke out. So we're just going to poke them out real quick. Some of them came out, but we're going to poke these out. It's really fast. You don't want to worry over it too much. Okay, and then my leaf, the whole center of the leaf comes out. So we're going to poke those out. We need to do it again. And get these. Okay. So finish poking them out. I got more of them than I thought it would. Got all of those. Okay. Got those. Still a couple. And the other leaf. Yeah. There we go. And now we have our little one. Okay, got that one. Pretty much. Let's see. All right, now I'm going to throw my trash away here. Set that aside. Now I'm going to show you, you can use this just like this, which is what I did on this one, this card. I used them exactly connected together, and I did layer them, but I didn't cut them apart. However, you can also cut them apart, and you just have to go along the outline, the edge of the petal. So this one, I'm just going to cut there. You have to do it on both sides. I'll do one side first. And right there. All right. And then I'm going to come back, and on this one, I'm going to trim that little petal. Trim it here and here. And trim off the little piece where I trimmed the other petal off. And honest to goodness, it works perfect. Perfect. That one's good. And the leaf is good. The leaf doesn't matter so much because you're going to tuck it under. All right. This one is good. One more time. I come under here and do this one. Put my leaf over here. Trim this one right here. and here. They've designed it so that you can easily cut them apart. There we go. Got that one. And I love that. Got that one. All right. Got that one. All right. So then the next thing I'm going to do is take these and with a pencil or something, just, you can do it with your fingers. Actually, I think what I did on the one I'm going to use on the top is I just cut these apart. Cut my little petals apart so that they curl better. They curl up better. And you may just have to trim it the tiniest little bit. But it's also easy to do that. And one more cut. Cut it. And cut it. Now, I'm going to take them and I'm going to curl them up. Just give them some dimension. This will be the top one. I didn't get that one, did I? Let's go ahead and get that one. Okay. Give them some dimension. And they're going to sit, it's going to sit right on top of this. See, it's going to sit right on top of it. Put this over here where we can see it. So I can go ahead and actually glue that down right now. And I want to just put glue in the spaces in between the little holes, and maybe here and here and here. It doesn't take much glue. And you can match up that pointy leaf. And I really meant to get my silicone sheet out so I don't mess up my tabletop here. All right, they're pretty lined up. There we go, there's that one. We're going to do the same thing with this one. We've just got a couple of places to cut. Here and here. Okay. And then we're going to take it and turn them up. Hi, Suzanne. I'm so glad you're here. All right, and now it's going to go right on top of this. And I'm just going to put a few dots. I got to find where it goes. I think it goes right there. So here's the card, Suzanne. Can you see it? The lattice. Have you done a lattice card yet? All right. I think it's called a split lattice. I'm going to trim that little tip off right there. So we've got this one ready to go. We have one more, and that's this one. No trimming to do. We're just going to raise the leaves up a little bit and glue it down. This one gives a little more space to glue. And we're going to glue it down right there. All right, now we have these three. ready for the card. Got our leaves ready. This one is going to go on the inside of the card. So we're not going to do anything to it, except we're going to take our dauber, and I have one for every color because I use my daubers a lot. And I'm going to get my pretty peacock ink, and we're going to daub the centers to bring out the color in that background piece. Well, Deanna, true to form, I got ink on me right off the bat. You know, I do that every time I get ink. All right, we're just going to daub the center just a little bit. Daub the center of this one. Doesn't take much. Daub the center of this one. Here we go. And this one. That's it. That is it. That's all we need to do with the ink. And now we're going to take the little ferny looking die, and we're going to cut a couple of leaves with that. So I'm just going to cut a piece of this off. We're going to cut it out of the same color that I used for the inside. We just need two. So we'll bring our cut and emboss back over. And do number one. Okay. All right. And we're going to get it out. You have to be a little more careful with these because they're a little more delicate. But if you poke all the holes and get it loose, then it usually comes right out. Here it comes. Run it down the stem until you can grab hold. So we've got that one, and now we're going to cut another one. We've got one more cutting thing to do, so we're going to go ahead and do that while we've got the cut and emboss thing right here. And then we're going to put it away. So I'm getting my leaf, my little ferny leaf out. Delicate little leaf. Put it over there and put this die back. So we need our sentiment die. And our sentiment is going to be on white. Hope your day is filled with everything good. So let me grab another piece of white. But I'm going to show you a little trick. So I need to stamp it first. And it's going to be, oh, I better see if this is wide enough. No. Get another piece of white. Here's this one is. All right, we're going to do it this way. And I'm going to go on and stamp my sentiment in black. Memento black. Get that done. Because I want to show you a trick for making your sentiment label the right size. So hope your day is filled with everything good. Now, this is a pretty big, I mean, it's bigger than I wanted it to be. So I'm going to cut it first, leaving lots of room at the top. I'm going to use one of my little pieces here to secure it down. There we go. Put it through. Now the trick, we're going to put it through again, but this time we're going to move, we're going to take it out, we're going to move the die down, we're going to move it around until it kind of gets caught in the holes, and it will, it'll catch itself in the holes, and then you know that it's lined up. You can just kind of feel it catch. I'll run it through again. And there we have it. Perfect size. Perfect size. Perfect size. So we got that done. Put our die back, and that die, that sentiment die, is from the Timeless Arrangements. This Timeless Arrangements, which is the July monthly stamp club set. So, all right, I'm not going to talk about it much now because I'll talk a lot about it next week. If you didn't hear, instead of the first Thursday in July, which is when I usually present the Stamp Club of the month, I'm going to do it the last Thursday in June because the first Thursday in July is kind of late. It doesn't give you much time to think about what you want to do. All right, we're ready to make our card now. So we're going to position our first daisy right here, and just along the inside edges is where we want to adhere it. Right about there. I'm just going to hold it down a minute. Now we're going to take one of our sets of leaves and stick them under there. It doesn't take much glue. I don't use much white glue. We're going to stick it right under there, right there. And you can take your leaves and you can even curl them up a little bit. Just adds to the dimension. And then we're going to go ahead and take this leaf made out of our designer series paper. It's just little dots of glue. And we'll put it right here, right there. Our second flower is going to go right down here. Just right there. Okay. Doesn't take much. Turn it this way. And it's just going to nudge right up. You want to make sure that it's on the slat, not... Okay. You want to make sure the glue falls on the slat. If, however, you mess up, like I sometimes do, then I grab my handy dandy eraser and I don't think this time. Well, there's a little, and you just get it off. You just get it off. These things are wonderful. All right, we have those two on, and I'm going to take this flower, this leaf, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here. That's right there. And I'm going to poke it up on the slat under that flower. And this leaf is going to go, let's see. I can put some right here. That's where the slat is. And maybe on the very end. Now, real carefully, I'm going to lift up this, and it's going to go right under there. You can kind of position it. I'm sticking it out a little more on this other than the other card, but that's okay. And I'm going to pull that leaf up. All right. It's in there. And it didn't, well, maybe a little bit. We'll fix it. It's hard to make that okay. And then our last little flower is going to go right here. So let's see where the slat falls. I'm going to put the glue on this leaf. And I may lift up another leaf here in a minute. And it's going to go right there. Right there. There we go. Didn't get any on. And then the glue is going to go up here too. There we go. All right. That's our flower. And we have our sentiment piece, which is going to go on with dimensionals. Here and here. Let me make sure. Here and here. So a little, I could do it up here. I could do it right there. Dimensionals are hidden behind the slats. We're going to use our brushed brass butterflies and have them flitting around. I'll put one right up here. Put one right here. Maybe right there on the, and one down here on the sentiment piece. Right there. So that is everything except our one flower inside. And we're going to glue it right there. We're just going to glue it right there and put some butterflies in there too. So let's get some more butterflies. We'll use a big one up here, one here, and one right down here. There we go. Now, if you wanted, this leaves space for them to sign the card, or they can write more on the back. But you want that color behind your slats. So, unless you use a lighter color, then they won't really be able to write on that. There we go. So, these are our split lattice cards. Do we have them all on the screen now? Yeah, we do. There we go. And wasn't that fun? I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll try it. I don't know if have any of you made this already? Made one of these split lattice cards? I had not tried it until just not very long ago. And I thought, oh, this is so much fun. I'm going to do this on my Facebook Live. All right. Well, we're done. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm StampinDeDe with StampinDeDe's Doings. Thank you so much for watching, for being with me here on the live, and for watching the replay on YouTube. Move it down a little bit. All right. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.